Welcome to another episode of Moving to Maryland. I'm here with Nick and Megan.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Pretty good.
So we're going to talk about a neighborhood today that I think is a favorite of both of you.
It
Yes.
is. Yep.
Butcher's Hill.
Yep.
Yes.
Butcher's Hill. So to give people a little bit of background, Butcher's Hill is a little bit more of a heart of the city neighborhood. It's just north of Fells Point on the east side of the city. So it borders Patterson Park on the east. So it's the west side of Patterson Park, and it's just south of Johns Hopkins. So it kind of, you have Lombard Street, Fairmount, Pratt, kind of cutting right through the heart of that neighborhood. But a lot of people like that neighborhood because it is more of a kind of residential neighborhood, but you're still close to, the park and places like Fells Point. So you're still close enough to the action, but still being, far enough away where you're not getting a lot of that noise.
No, I agree. If you don't want to be in that action where Fells Point and Canton is, Butcher's Hill is where you want to be. It's definitely quieter, but it also is really close to, like you said, Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland Medical Center, and also really good access to just downtown Baltimore, like Mount Vernon area.
Yeah, having Fayette and Lombard Street takes you right down into downtown. So if you need to go north for work up to like Mount Vernon, you just take 83.
Yeah.
It's right there. And if you have to go east, more towards like Bayview and a lot of like where the biosciences neighborhoods are, you just take those streets all the way through.
Yeah.
So it's a really easy commuting neighborhood because you have big, nice streets cutting right through the neighborhood.
Right.
It is one of my favorite neighborhoods, too.
Yeah.
But I say that in every neighborhood that we do because
have a lot
they
of
are my
favorites.
favorite
You have a lot of
neighborhoods. We've been
favorites.
starting, and there is a fuzzy border, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you have Upper Fells Point that kind of encroaches into Butcher's Hill, and then you have, it's really hard to figure out exactly where the border is. Everybody
Right.
calls it a little bit different, but
Yeah.
whatever the case, it's the walkability there is fantastic. The less hustle bustle than like you guys said is great. And when you're at a concert in Patterson Park right there at the Pagoda and watching all of the people streaming out of Butcher's Hill, and you can see them coming from Canton and Patterson Park and Highlandtown and everywhere else. But it's really cool to just see everybody get so involved in the community that's built around the park. And let's talk about the park and the access. I mean, it's such a great green space for everybody, but especially Butcher's Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close. I mean, if you have a dog or want to walk or jog in that area, I mean, you are a couple blocks over. I mean, you are there, you're good to go. You can play volleyball. There's Volo Sports that do a lot of activities and games over there at Patterson Park. So it's a really great space to be active.
And not to mention all the events, the concerts in the park. They do the beer fest in the fall. There's the Ukrainian festival. There's all sorts of things that go on year round there that you just can hop over, anytime. And just as long as you, stay current as to what events going on, everything's right there.
Yeah, Friends of Patterson Park has a great site. And, one of the things I love about the area is it's, we're talking about Butcher's Hill, but it's really like the Patterson Park area. All of the 4 neighborhoods that surround that park are just kind of like one big community now. And that's something I really enjoy. It's so charming to, all the different factions come to the concerts and you're meeting people from Patterson Park and Highlandtown and Canton. It's just all a big blend.
Yeah.
It is. And to say, where that neighborhood is doesn't mean that you don't have amenities. I mean, there's so many great little neighborhood spots in that neighborhood. So you don't necessarily I don't want to tell people that you're an isolated neighborhood because you do have so many, great little restaurants and bars. I mean, you have, places like La Barita, which is an Argentinian restaurant. You have Marta. You have my favorite bar in Baltimore, Butts and Betty's. It's a cash-only little pool bar that, there's nothing but like old school people that hang out there and you hear great
What about
stories.
Ministry of Brewing? I thought that was your favorite.
That too. Well, that's more of a brewery than a bar.
Right.
So let's you went over a bunch of places. La Barita, phenomenal
It
food.
is.
And it's so good. You're like, wow, am I really in like a small Baltimore City neighborhood?
Right.
The food is feels like a place that should be in a more high profile location, right?
Right.
And then Marta is like supposed to be really, really good. I haven't got over there yet, but has anybody been there yet?
I haven't been there by myself, but I know it's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing food.
I've been. It's very nice. It's
Yeah.
a small little spot. The old restaurant there called Salt was a neighborhood staple for a really long time. And fun anecdote was the head chef there. He was married to my high school, or is married to my high school English teacher. So we were, of course, figure that out. And he works at Thames Street Oyster House now, which is a great restaurant in Fells Point too. But
Right.
it's nice that space became reimagined as something that the neighborhood can really kind of anchor down.
Yeah.
And if you work at Johns Hopkins, you can walk there. It's
Right.
it's like a 5-10 minute walk to Johns Hopkins, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a big neighborhood for people who actually work at that hospital
Yes.
because it is a 5-minute, 10-minute walk depending on where you live in that neighborhood to work. So a lot of doctors, surgeons, nurses all live in that neighborhood.
Right.
Even regular Hopkins employees as
Mhm.
well that are
Exactly.
non-doctors,
Right.
nurses.
True.
But
Absolutely.
schools,
Yeah.
not a bad school selection around in Butchers Hill as well as close by, right?
Right. I mean, you have Patterson Park Charter House, or
School.
public charter, excuse me, and then also Wolf Street Academy, which is right in Butchers Hill.
Right, and then the elementary school just north of tip is what's that, Commodore
John Rogers.
Yep. Commodore John Rogers.
Yeah.
So let's talk about real estate options.
Sure.
Sure. Do you want to do it or I'll take care of it?
Well, I mean, basically, there you have your mix of a few condos, but mainly you're going to have these beautiful brick, like row homes. Some of them are small down the alley, and others are just beautiful, gorgeous, large homes.
Yeah, on the main streets like Fayette, Lombard, Baltimore Street, you get these gorgeous 3-story
Pratt Street.
Pratt
Right.
Street, yes. These gorgeous 3-story townhomes that are all brick front. They're really large. They're 3-4 bedrooms, 3,000 square feet, some of them. And then you do have, like Megan said, these smaller alley streets if you're looking for more of a 1-bedroom, kind of 2-bedroom option. They're right on alley streets. They're really quiet, and they're great for younger people looking to kind of live in the city for the first time and
Right.
explore the neighborhood. There's a lot of great housing options there.
Yeah, I mean, down Patterson Park Avenue, which is park front, you
Yeah.
have some really big 20-foot wide houses, courtyards, 2-car garages with like an apartment above the garage, really mansion type places, and as well as along the main streets, Lombard and Pratt and Baltimore Street, and so there is a really big range, right? Like you can get an alley townhome for 150,
Right.
and do a park front for 850,000.
Yes.
So-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and considering for, a house like that, if we're talking more of the larger options, it's super affordable. Like you said, a park front for 800,000 when you think of, in other parts of the city or even places like DC where a lot of people are moving, it's half the price
Right.
for
Yeah.
the same exact house.
Yep.
Well, that's one of the cool things about Butchers Hill is it's a little bit less expensive than Fells Point and Canton. So if you still want to be close,
Right.
but want to get a better price point and more bang for the buck in the house, you certainly go that way, right?
Absolutely.
So we are all real estate agents, and we have an office in Fells Point, which is just 2 minutes away from Butchers Hill. We would love to show you around any of these harbor neighborhoods, anywhere around the Baltimore Metro. So give us a call, reach out. We'd love to show you around. Take care. Bye-bye.